What's going on YouTube? It's Giga here bringing you some more Series 9 Wi-Fi battles with live commentary. We are once again using Emma Manzo's team that made it all the way to top 4 in the last Hattering tournament. I did have a lot of fun with the team yesterday and I'm really excited to play some more games with it today. So looking at my opponent's team, it is Rillaboom, Regieleki, Urshifu, Porygon, Clefairy, and Glastrier. So the main thing that scares me on my opponent's team is the Urshifu, but other than that, Metagross is in a really good position overall. So what I'm thinking is Metagross Sylveon isn't actually a bad option. I could also do Moltres. I like Metagross Sylveon. I think it gives me a lot of options. I like... Maybe Moltres and... I'm gonna... Do I want... Feeney's hard because of Aleki and Rillaboom. But honestly, so is Grimmsnarl. I'm gonna bring Grimmsnarl. I think having access to Thunderwave is really important, so hopefully we can continue our success from yesterday, but I think this is going to be a little bit of a tricky matchup. I think it really depends on what my opponent leads with, and that Urshifu, regardless, is going to give us some problems. So we are going to see Porygon and Clefairy. So this is actually pretty okay for me because of the fact that I can go for an immediate Steel Spike into the Clefairy and get some good damage off, and we don't even really need to worry. Yeah, let's go for a Steel Spike here, and I guess we Mystical. Let's go for a Yawn. Do I want to Yawn onto Porygon? Let's see. Let's go for a Yawn. I think we just want to put on a lot of pressure from the start. And so it looks like they're not going to max, and I'm guessing that means we are going to see Trick Room, and I think that Trick Room isn't even that scary, especially given the fact that Metagross, if we get the Steel Spike up, we can outspeed, or we can outbulk the biggest threat, which is going to be that Glastrier. So we are going to see a Follow Me, and I think that that is fine. The only question is, what is faster between Sylveon and Metagross? I would like Metagross to be faster, just because then we can... Okay, so it is faster, and I'm hoping the Steel Spike picks up a KO, as we are going to see... Yep, we are going to get a KO onto Clefairy, so we are going to be able to get the defense boost, and it means we're going to be able to yawn pretty comfortably into this Porygon Z. I don't know how much that critical hit mattered, but we do have the fact that it is a Steel-type stab move from Metagross with, I think, yeah, Adamant and almost max attack. So it also isn't super surprising. So, okay, so we are going to see Regieleki come out. I think... Oh, you're probably going to max the Aleki. So what I want to do is max Quake into Aleki and go for a Mystical Fire? What do I have in the back? I have Grim, so I think we go for a Mystical Fire onto Porygon. The main issue is Aleki is really scary, but I do actually expect to see the Aleki max in this situation, just because of the fact that you can get the electric terrain and stop the yawn, and yep, we are going to see the Aleki come out. And so the big question now is, can we survive the hit? And yep, we do see the lightning into Metagross. Metagross should be able to take this with the Salt Vest. Okay, it takes it very well. So I feel comfortable about taking a double up, and then we do see a Shadow Ball come in. We are going to live, so that is really important, as we do see the Life Orb on the Porygon Z, as we are going to be able to get a Max Quake. Unfortunately, does not pick up the knockout onto Aleki. I feel like I should have maybe gone for a Hyper Voice, but we are getting Sylveon very bulky at this point, to the point where what? We can try and redirect some attacks and get some damage going, and yeah, they're not going to fall asleep. We should just go for it anyway, as well as probably a Hyper Voice. I think Hyper Voice from this range can pick up the knockout onto... Oh, okay, so they're going to target into Sylveon, which... Oh, because Shadow Ball... Yep, Shadow Ball is going to pick up the KO into Metagross, so you're just trying to get as much chip damage as possible, as we can now use, hopefully, this Hyper Voice to pick up a knockout onto both of them. Or not both of them, but at least a Lecky. Which, yep, we do thankfully get the knockout there, and I think having Grimmsnarl in the back with priority light screen is going to be a really big deal, because we can immediately set that up to drop the damage output we're going to see, as their last is going to be... Okay, so it is Urshifu, and this is actually really scary. We can't go for a Thunder Wave. I think we have to go for this, but I'm guessing what the combination from Urshifu should be enough to pick up the knockout onto Sylveon. And then, yeah, we are just, I mean, what, we can double up into, oh, they target into Grim. And so I think maybe with the, I mean, if we live the, oh, Hyper Beam. So we're going to see Hyper Beam come out into Sylveon, I'm guessing. Sylveon, hopefully with the light screen, can take it. 87, unfortunately down to 0. But that does mean we can go for a double into our Shifu this next turn, because we did see that Grimmsnarl is going to be able to live. And so I'm guessing a combination of a Spirit Break here, as well as... I think this should be enough. Like, I know it's not very effective, but Grimmsnarl, like, it is going to be at -1 defense. And the fact that they do have to go for another hit as well. So I think, yeah, Spirit Break should bring it down to Sash. And then I'm guessing the Fiery Wrath picks up the KO, right? We are going to see the Close Combat come out into Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl is going to live at 3. 3 is more than 0. And yeah, I think given the fact that they are going to be at -2, we are going to see the Porygon Z have to recharge. And then this Fiery Wrath, along with the Spirit Break, should be more than enough, right? Right, I pray. It's at -2 defense. Like, there's no way this Urshifu is going to live. And yep, cool. So we do manage to pick up the first game. I think it was a little bit closer than I would have liked, for sure. And I think my choice of bringing Grimmsnarl was a little bit risky, but this Grimmsnarl is max defense, max HP, with Impish Nature. So it honestly didn't really surprise me that we were able to live 2 close combats. But let's see what they have. I think the Rillaboom was really scary. Alecki, pretty bulky Alecki. I think that explains why it was able to pick up, or not pick up, to live a hit. We are going to see Urshifu. Yeah, really standard. Nothing to talk about there. Porygon, yeah, so they did have adaptability, which was huge. Shadow Ball was a really clutch choice for Metagross, and it makes sense. Yeah, protect Nasty Plot, and then Ghost and normal coverage to really help you out. Friend Guard, nothing too exciting, and then, yeah, cool. Yeah, really good first game, and nothing much to say, but yeah, let's keep rocking and rolling and move right to the next game. All right, game number 2, and this is a nut core. So it is Thundurus with Mamoswine. They do have Incineroar, Mimikyu, Urshifu, and Nihilego. This is tricky, because it's just... Spectrier is actually tempting, right? Because what I'm thinking with Spectrier is... Spectrier does have Will-O-Wisp, but it also just, like, does not like literally anything on this team. Spectre Fini? Right, with Metagross and Grimmsnarl? I think that's what I'm thinking, right? With the only reason for Spectre being Will-O-Wisp to try and stop much, Fini can deal with 2 out of the 3, and in the event that it's Thunderous, yeah, we do have to go for Will-O-Wisp. So a little bit of a weird spot for sure. Nutcore, I think, is just so hard to beat because it is so versatile where, oh, you can adjust for 1 of the 2 or 2 of the 2, but how do you adjust for all 3? And it becomes this really big mind game. So I'm hoping I think this is my best bet. We are going to see Incineroar Nihilego. So this is scary. So what I'm thinking is, I think what we want to do is we want to go for a Snarl and swap out into Metagross, with the idea that Metagross will be able to take either a poison move or a rock move, and then from there we can start going on the offensive. And I think setting up against Urshifu, which I actually really expect in the back, is going to be hard, especially now that we do have the Misty Terrain, which prevents us from really setting up in a good way. We are going to see Incineroar not go for a Fake Out and stay in, so I'm guessing Parting Shot. And they could double up on Spectrier. I think that'd be really smart. We do see the Sludge Bomb come into Spectrier, and it's not going to do that much as a result of the Snarl, as well as a Darkest Lariat, which most likely, is going to go into the Spectrier. So we are going to lose Spectrier. Definitely a little bit earlier than I would have liked. And, I'm going to bring out Fini again. It is, I think, going to be really hard given the fact that there is the Nihilego out. So we most likely have to protect here and Steel Spike. Nihilego's defense is like pretty terrible. So my thought process with going for Rockfall is if they switch out from Nihilego into Thundurus, we catch the Thundurus on super effective, as we are going to see the Nihilego switch out. I'm hoping that is Thundurus. Yeah, we're going to see Thundurus come in, and I think that was really what I was thinking, because it's like Quake, you risk not getting any damage. With the Rockfall, you're guaranteed to hit something, and if there's Urshifu, you're going to break the Sash. So now we are in a really good spot, I think, because of the fact that getting rid of Thundurus is huge. The fear, though, is, what is it called? This Incineroar can go for really big... Oh. Okay. So we're going to see Max Incin. That's actually going to make things really tricky. We know it has Darkest Lariat. We can assume it has a fire move. So you can go for a hit into... What's it called? A hit into Metagross. So now is the big question of speed and where this goes. We are luckily faster than the Incineroar, so we are going to be able to pick up a knockout onto the Tornadus, the Thundurus, which means that we can go for a hit, assuming we live before the Incineroar. We do see the Max Flare come in, and we are going to take that. Unfortunately, not as well as I would have liked, but I think we will be able to beat Nihilego. And what we can do is... Yeah, it's just tricky because of the fact that... okay, so they do have Urshifu, so this is actually really scary. I think we have to Moonblast into Urshifu and go for a Rockfall onto the Incineroar. but I expect Wicked Blow to knock out, right? We are gonna, yeah, unfortunately, we are gonna go down. I was gonna say, oh, crit, but then I remembered it's Wicked Blow. So this is a really tricky spot to be in. We do get the Moonblast off, but what I'm thinking is, oh god, I really wish that Urshifu was not Focus Sash. We are going to see the Max Flare come in. Tapu Fini does take that not as well as I would have liked, but we do have two really physical threats in Urshifu and Incineroar. So Grimmsnarl, I think Grimmsnarl can come in and pretty easily set up a Reflect, which obviously is not going to help against Urshifu, but it will at least provide some sort of boost against Incineroar, so hopefully we can take some big hits. We know that we can live to close combats from the last time we saw it, and yeah, we are going to see them go for a close combat into Grimmsnarl, which is really good because of the fact that I want to preserve Fini as much as possible. We do double connect with the Muddy Water. Unfortunately, it really is not going to do any sort of damage, but we are going to get the accuracy drop as I expect them to go for another Max Flare into Grimmsnarl. Grimmsnarl is going to hang on, which I think is still really relevant in this situation. The main issue, though, is the fact that there is going to be this Nihilego in the back, and Nihilego has super effective onto both of my Pokemon, and there is the Sun Up, which is going to stop me from getting really big damage with something like a Muddy Water. But I still think we go for a Muddy Water here, as well as a Light Screen with Grimmsnarl. What is nice is Grimmsnarl can help divert some of the damage away, and we can kind of hope to let Fini set up. We are going to see, yep, Grimmsnarl is just going to go down, and most likely we are going to see a Darkest Lariat from, oh, there's the Beast Boost too, which is going to make this really tricky. We do get the Muddy Water off. We are going to double connect. We do have the accuracy drop on Incineroar, which I think can play a pretty big role. We are going to see Flare Blitz, which they are going to miss, and we are going to get like a decent amount of HP back. And so let's just quickly see something. How many turns of... Oh, there's one turn of Sun left. So what I'm thinking is we protect this turn to get some recovery, and then we guaranteed have Light Screen and Reflect up, and this should let us do... Oh god. Okay, so that was a really good read to go for a substitute, because now we are playing another interesting game of I have to hit Muddy Water, but I think with the Harsh Sunlight gone, we can at least pick up the KO onto Incineroar. And so now it comes down to how much HP am I going to have after this Sludge Bomb. Sludge Bomb is going to do 134 down to 18. Okay, so we lose, especially with the poison. Because what I was going to hope for is, like, if it did enough that we can outstall with Recover, but especially now that we have the poison, that is not an option. So looking back, I'm just trying to think, like, I think the max on Incineroar, I did not expect it. And that can, I mean, I think that is one of the things that makes best of one so difficult is, yeah, if your opponent does something that you don't account for, like, how do you adjust? Because I couldn't handle dealing with max Incineroar, and I think it was a really smart play for my opponent to go for that, and it completely, I don't want to say completely ruined my max, but it really reduced my damage output, and I especially think having Grimmsnarl in the back made it even more difficult, and my opponent, yeah, is going for style points and finishing me off with the poison. So I do want to see for sure if my opponent has their team available. I think I really want to see what the spread was on that Incineroar, because it did a lot of damage, and it really set up for what is it called? It really set up for Urshifu to come out, and having the Assault Vest really hurt because I wasn't able to protect, which really was unfortunate. I think if I was able to protect, get rid of Urshifu, well, even then I wouldn't have been able to get rid of Urshifu, but I think, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, like, where could I have played things differently? I guess the only thing was maybe the turn I protected to go for Muddy Water, but I'm assuming they realized that I wouldn't break the sub. So, I mean, like, that is the question of, would I have been able to break the sub with Tapu Fini in the sun? Because if I could have, then they would have had no sub, and I would have lived their their Sludge Bomb and been able to pick up the knockout back. But yeah, really good battle. Can't win them all, and yeah, nothing to say, but let's keep rocking and rolling and move on to the next game. All right, last game of the day. It is Zapdos with Cartania, Salamence, a Grimmsnarl, Heatran, and Togekiss. There's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of different things that my opponent can do, and I think one thing that's really scary is Kartana. And part of me wishes I could max Spectrier, but it only has Shadow Ball as an attack. But I definitely want Spectrier. I really like Spectrier. I want Sylveon. Metagross. I kind of like Sylveon, but it also isn't the best option. Metagross, Fini, Sylveon. Right? Is that what I'm thinking? Is there an argument for Grimmsnarl? I wanna go with Sylveon second. I think what my thought process is I kind of expect a Salamence lead, like Salamence Togekiss, and so having that immediate pressure, I think, is going to be huge. The thing that is the most scary for me is, like I said, Heatran, and the fact that I don't have a good answer for it other than Metagross, which isn't a good answer for it. And we are gonna see Grimmsnarl with Kartana. So I like the idea of just trying to go for a Will-O-Wisp onto Kartana and a Protect, or I could just switch out into Metagross. Yeah, I'm gonna switch out into Metagross. I think it's important to preserve Sylveon. I say this mainly for Grimmsnarl, even though Metagross can handle Grimmsnarl. But I think if I can get the burn... Oh, okay, so we're going to see Protect on the Kartana. So this is... As we do see a trick come out onto the Spectrier. So this is really scary, because now I have Lagging Tail and they have a Focus Sash, and I'm going to move last. I think I still have to go for Will-O-Wisp on Kartana and go for a Steel Spike on a Grimmsnarl. Just because I need Grimmsnarl gone. And I think at this point I do expect Kartana to have a Focus Sash. So we're also not going to see my opponent max, which is, I think, a little bit scary, because I think that to me suggests that they have Heatran in the back. Because it's like, oh, why are you going to max Kartana when you have all this good damage with Heatran? We are going to see a Leaf Blade just come out into Spectrier. Spectrier does hold on, which I'm actually shocked about. I didn't expect Spectrier to take a hit. We are going to... Oh, I was like, oh, wow, Grimmsnarl has Focus Sash. Maybe it's because I tricked it onto it. We do see the Focus Sash, so I'm expecting Grimmsnarl just to go for a Spirit Break into Spectrier, right? Yep, we're going to see the Spirit Break come out into Spectrier, and unfortunately, even with the defense boost, we are going to go down. So now I think so. What I think I have to do is I think I have to protect Sylveon. Protect Sylveon and I could. What? I can Steel Spike. Yeah, Kartana is just, it's okay. So they're not maxing. We are going to see them protect again, as I expect. What, Grimmsnarl to go for a screen, most likely, and then what I'm thinking is I just want to break a potential sash. So yep, we do see the Reflect come out, as we are just going to get a little bit of chip onto this Kartana. And I think every little bit of chip matters. What actually was the right play would have been to knock out Grimmsnarl, because now they can set up another screen, and we have to... Yeah, we gotta go for a Mystical Fire here and a Steel Spike into the Grimmsnarl. And this is a pretty free KO from Kartana at this point, as they are going to be able to get up the double screen. Yep, a Smart Strike into Sylveon. We do have the berry, so I'm hoping with the berry we live, especially given the fact that oh, we took that very well, which is nice, because now we're going to be able to get a Steel Spike into this Grimmsnarl, as they are going to take a Mystical Fire onto Kartana. And the thing though is, now that they have both screens up, we don't have max anymore, and I'm guessing if my opponent has Heatran in the back, like, I'm in a really, really tight spot, especially if this Mystical Fire doesn't KO, which thank goodness it does, because now it is going to be 2v3, but I think my opponent still having their max and most likely having Heatran makes this very scary, because it's Heatran behind screens, and Heatran has just like pretty consistent KOs into my team, where it has Quake or Flare for Metagross. But we are going to see, interesting, we do see Togekiss and, okay, so yep, we do see Togekiss and we do see Heatran, which means that I can't safely go for, what is it called? I can't safely just go for a Quake into them, but I could. I still think I'd go for a Hyper Voice, just trying to get any bit of chip that I can, and go for an Iron Head into this Togekiss, with the hopes that we are Assault Vest Metagross at +1 special defense, and I'm hoping that that's enough where we can live. Okay. Well, this changes things and kind of makes me feel silly for not targeting into Heatran. We are going to see the Airstream into the Sylveon, which I think is very smart, because now Heatran is going to be able to outspeed. They do get a critical hit, which indicates to me that it's Crit Kiss. And now what? You can go for a pretty safe Heat Wave. Yep. Get the double connect. Sylveon will go down, and Metagross... Oh god, yeah, I was going to say, that did way more than I would have expected. We do get this Iron Head off, but it is going to do nothing, and I think as a result of that critical hit, we are in really, really bad shape. As we're going to bring out Tapu Fini, and we have to go for a Muddy Water, but they could easily have Max Flare, in which case it doesn't really matter. But I think Muddy Water is going to be our best bet, as we do... No, I have to go for Muddy Water and go for... I mean, I don't expect Metagross to live, but I'm going to go for... I'm just going to go for an Iron Head. Yeah, I think just being the fact that they got the screens up, and this is going to go into Feeny. Feeny is going to take a pretty sizable chunk, more than I definitely would have liked. And yeah, the screens are really paying off here. Uh, huh, I have to sneeze. Sorry. Um, but this is actually interesting because they targeted into Metagross, as we do pick up a Muddy Water, which is going to do decent chip. And so I think the main question now is what? How many turns of Light Screen are left? They have 2 turns of Light Screen. I think we try to protect this turn. The issue though is this is most likely Crit Kiss. So like even though I'm going to take reduced damage, it is still going to be the big chance of critical hit. 115 down to 84. And yeah, this I do have to take. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. A critical hit through the protect, and I think given the fact that they are picking up all of these critical hits, even with and they have flash cannon as well. So what I would need is I would need probably a double protect to feel safe going for an attack. But I think especially with Heatran having flash cannon, it's over. But I think with double protect, that's probably my best chance. As we unfortunately don't get it, so let's just see. Dazzling Gleam should be enough. They're not risking it with the crit. 44, and then this flash cannon I expect to do more than that. Which, yep, they're going to pick up the knockout. So I think that was a little bit unfortunate where, like, I get that Crit Kiss is trying to get critical hits, but I don't know. I think I really should have pressured more into Grimmsnarl earlier on. The fact that it was able to get off a trick and then both screens before I was able to take it out, like really, really put me in a bad position. So I think I think Metagross Spectrier. I should have led. Did I lead Metagross Spectrier? I forget. I think I led Sylveon. But I should have just gone for an immediate Iron Head into Grimmsnarl. I should have double targeted into it with the idea that, hey, I'm gonna live with Spectrier as a result of the sash, and then from there, them not having screens would have been really, really beneficial because of the fact that it would have led us to a lot more damage into Heatran, and then I also think that the critical hit onto Metagross from Heatran was a really big deal, because otherwise we would have been able to take one more hit from them, and then that could have really put more pressure on the Kiss. But good run with this team. I think given how late I normally record, I probably won't be uploading any more games from this month, but trying to get some teams ready for people with rental codes for the start of next month, not only to help others, but also for some cool stuff to feature on the channel. But yeah, I hope all of you enjoyed the video, and until next time, I hope all of you are wonderful, and I'll see you then.